All right, welcome back everyone to another episode in our commentary series. And we are continuing to unpack the work of Ajmal from his website, theborderofamind.com. And today we're going to be focusing on his blog post titled, Rebuild the Bedrock.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so, if you haven't checked out his website before, I would encourage you to do so, theborderofamind.com.
Yeah, what strikes me about this particular blog post is that when you encounter these ideas, at least for me, my ears weren't quite ready to hear what was being said.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect way to frame our discussion for today because he really kind of hits on this idea of the difference between surface level learning, which I think a lot of us are probably accustomed to.
Sure.
And that's really about just absorbing information, facts, figures, data.
Yeah.
And then there's this other type of learning that he calls deep learning.
Yeah.
Which I think is something completely different.
Absolutely, and much harder.
Yeah, and I think what makes it harder is that it challenges us in a way that surface learning doesn't.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It requires us to kind of question some of the fundamental assumptions that we have about the world.
Yeah, the bedrock.
Yeah, and he talks about the need for humility in that process.
Right.
Admitting that we might be wrong.
Absolutely. And, a lot of us, including myself, like to believe that we have a pretty good grasp on reality.
Yeah.
But to engage in deep learning, sometimes that requires us to say, you know what, I might have been wrong about something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I thought was fundamental.
Yeah.
And that is a challenging thing to do.
Absolutely.
For anybody.
And it can be a bit scary, too.
Absolutely. It can be very scary.
Because it's like, if I'm wrong about this one thing, what else am I wrong about?
Precisely.
And I love the analogy that he uses in the blog post.
Oh, yeah.
About the canvas, He talks about how surface learning is like extending the canvas.
Right. You get a bigger canvas.
You get more space to paint, but deep learning is about reshaping the canvas itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's about taking that canvas, crumpling it all up, maybe even getting a new canvas.
Right.
And starting over.
Like, okay, I thought the canvas was supposed to be square.
Yeah.
But maybe it needs to be circular.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and it makes me think about our own experiences of, when our canvas was reshaped.
Oh, yeah.
I think back to, when I was a kid and I learned that, Santa Claus wasn't real.
Right.
That was a
big one.
That was a canvas reshaping moment for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or even, I remember thinking, as a kid, that the Earth was the center of the universe.
Totally.
And then, learning in school, no, actually, we're
just a tiny little speck.
Yeah, a little tiny blip on the radar.
Yeah.
In this vast expanse.
Yeah, and what's amazing about that is that those experiences, although they are scary and they can be, challenging and all those things, that's actually how we grow.
Right.
That's how we develop intellectually and even, as people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is he saying, we should walk around constantly questioning everything?
I don't think so. I don't think he's advocating for, complete and utter chaos and, just never believing in anything.
Right, because we do need some kind of foundation to stand on, right?
Well, yeah, and I think what he's really getting at is a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's like having that critical thinking, having that discernment to be open to new ideas, but also being able to, evaluate those ideas and figure out, okay, which ones are really worth incorporating into my worldview.
Yeah, and I think, I guess the challenge then becomes well, how do we decide which bedrock beliefs to question,
Right.
Because we can't question everything all at once.
It's true, yeah, and I think that that's where, you have to be really honest with yourself.
Yeah.
About, what are the things that are most important to you? What are the things that, you're really willing to be wrong about?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that, each individual has to grapple with.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's a good reminder, too, that, our understanding of the world is constantly evolving.
Always changing.
Yeah. It's not static.
Yeah. We're not meant to just, get to a certain point and then just stop growing or learning.
And there are things that, even scientific revolutions that have happened throughout history.
Absolutely.
That were completely unsettling at the time.
Yeah, the shift from, believing that the Earth was the center of the universe to, understanding that we're revolving around the sun.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal.
Yeah, everything I thought I knew was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be a scary thing, but it can also be a really exciting thing.
Yeah.
Because it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
And I think ultimately that's what Ajmal is trying to get us to see in this blog post, is that, it's okay to have your beliefs challenged.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably a good thing.
It's a sign of growth.
Yeah, it's a sign that you're still, engaged with the world and you're still learning and growing.
Exactly.
So, I would definitely recommend checking out this blog post, Rebuild the Bedrock, on his website, theborderofthemind.com.
And as you read it, ask yourself, what is one bedrock belief that you hold that you might be willing to re-examine?
Ooh, that's a good one.
In light of new information or new experiences.
That's a great question. And I think, we'll probably have to say that one for our listeners to ponder on their own.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you for joining us for another commentary. And be sure to stay tuned for future episodes.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you next time.
As we continue to explore Ajmal's work.
Sounds good.
All right, see you later.
Bye.